Today, we are going to cover on the foundations of internal auditing of study unit 1 on the quality assurance improvement program, QAIP, due professional care, continuing program development, and reporting. Are you ready to start? Grab your pen and paper and let's get started. Now, if you are ready, let's get into it. The IIA provide guidance for the applications of due care in Implementation Guide 1220. Due professional care are Attribute Standard 1220. Due professional care, internal auditors must apply care and skill expected of a reasonable, prudent, and competence. Implementation Standard 1220.A1 stated that internal auditors must exercise due professional care by considering extent of work needed to achieve the engagement objectives, complexity, materiality, significant matters which assurance procedures are applied, adequacy and effectiveness of governance, risk management and control processes, probability significant errors, fraud and non-compliance, cost assurance in relation to potential benefits. For the Implementation Standard 1220.A2, internal auditors must consider the use of technology-based audit and data analysis techniques. For the Implementation Standard 1220.A3, internal auditors must alert the significant risks that might affect objectives, operations, or resources. However, assurance procedure alone, when performed due professional care, do not guarantee all significant risks will be identified. For the Implementation Standard 1220.C1, internal auditors must exercise due professional care during consulting engagement by considering needs, expectations of client, including time, nature, communications of engagement results, complexity and extent of work needed to achieve the engagement's objectives, and the cost of consulting engagement in relation to potential benefit. Continuing professional development. Attribute Standard 1230 Continuing Professional Development, internal auditors must enhance their knowledge, skills, and other competency, use self-assessment tool, competency framework, creating professional development plan like coaching, mentoring, internal and external training, participating in conferences, seminar, training program, online courses, webinar, self-study program, classroom courses, research, pursuing professional certificates. Certified internal auditors continuing professional development by completing CPE, which is continuing professional education. Practicing and number practicing must complete 40 hours and 20 hours of CPE annually, including 2 hours ethic training. And for continuing professional education, activities will contribute to internal auditor competence include education program, passing examination, authoring or contributing translating to publication, delivering oral presentation, or external quality assessment. Quality Assurance and Improvement Program, QAIP. For the Attribute Standard 1300 Quality Assurance and Improvement Program, CAE must develop and maintain a quality assurance and improvement program which covers all aspects of IAA. For the interpretation standard 1300, QAIP is designed to enable evaluation of IAA conformance with the standards and evaluations internal auditors apply code of ethics. 5 components in quality assurance and improvement program are internal assessment, external assessment, communications of quality assurance improvement program results, proper use of conformance statement, and disclosure of non-conformant. Chief Audit Executive responsibilities for quality assurance and improvement program. CAE must have thorough understanding of mandatory elements of IPPF, especially in standards and code of ethics. CAE meets with the board to gain understanding of the expectation for IAA and discuss the importance of standards and quality assurance and improvement program. Chief Audit Executive responsibility for quality assurance improvement program. CAE periodically evaluates quality assurance improvement program and updates it as needed. Adjustment to the quality assurance improvement program may become necessary to ensure it continues to operate in an effective and efficient manner. For the attribute standard 1310, requirements of the QAIP, QAIP must include both internal and external assessments. CAE responsible for ensuring that IAA conducts internal assessment and external assessment. CAE must ensure that IAA conduct external assessment once for every 5 years. Internal assessment consists of ongoing monitoring and periodic assessment. Ongoing is focused on review conducted at engagement level. Meanwhile, periodic assessment provide more holistic review of standard and IAA. For the external assessment, for independent assessor conclude that IAA conform with the standard and IA apply code of ethics. Quality Assurance Improvement Program on the internal assessment. Attribute Standard 1311 internal assessment state that ongoing monitoring of performance of IAA, periodic assessment or assessment by other person within organization with sufficient knowledge, internal audits practices. Interpretation of Standard 1311, ongoing monitoring is an integral part of day-to-day supervision, review, measurement of IAA, incorporated into routine policies and practices to manage internal audit activities. Periodic assessment conducted to evaluate conformance with the Code of Ethics and Standard. Sufficient knowledge of internal audit practices require at least understanding all elements in IPPF. For the ongoing monitoring, it will focus on review which is conducted at engagement level. And it helps Chief Audit Executive to determine whether audit processes delivering quality on engagement by engagement basis. And for ongoing monitoring, it occurs routinely throughout the year and continuous activities like engagement planning, supervision, standardized work practices, work paper procedures and sign-off, and report reviews. For the ongoing monitoring, additional mechanism is used for ongoing monitoring include checklists or automation tools, feedback from internal audit clients and other stakeholders, staff and engagement key performance indicator, example, year experience in internal audit, number of continuing professional development. Periodic self-assessment provide comprehensive review of standard and internal audit activity, generally conducted by senior internal auditors or certified internal auditors. Periodic self-assessment is to validate continued performance with the standard and code of ethics. Periodic self-assessment code of ethics is to evaluate supervision quality of work performed, adequacy policies and procedures, weigh IS add value, KPI, degree stakeholder expectation are met. For the adequate supervision, fundamental in QAIP, planning, performance and communication phase of engagement. For the internal assessment, attribute standard 1311 internal assessment, ongoing monitoring of performance of IAA. For the interpretation standard 1311, ongoing monitoring is an integral part of day-to-day supervision, review, measurement of IAA, incorporated into routine policies and practices to manage IAA. Ongoing monitoring focus on review conducted at engagement level, and it helps CAA to determine whether audit processes delivering quality on engagement by engagement basis. Occurs routinely throughout the year. Continuous activities like engagement planning, supervision, standardized work practices, work paper procedure sign-off, and report review. Additional mechanisms used for ongoing monitoring include checklists or automation tools, feedback from internal audit clients and other stakeholders, staff and engagement key performance indicator, example year of experience in internal audit, number of continuing professional development. For the attribute standard 1311 internal assessment, periodic assessment by other person within organization with sufficient knowledge of internal audit practices. For the interpretation standard 1311, periodic assessment conducted to evaluate conformance with the Code of Ethics and Standard, sufficient knowledge of internal audit practices which require at least understanding all elements in IPPF. Meanwhile, periodic self-assessment provide comprehensive review of standard and IAA, generally conducted by the senior internal auditors or certified internal auditors, to validate continued performance with the standard and Code of Ethics. For the periodic self-assessment, Code of Ethics is to evaluate supervision, quality of work performed, adequacy policy and procedures, weigh international standard, add value, KPI, degree, stakeholders' expectation are met. For the adequate supervision, fundamentals in QAIP, planning, performance and communication phase of engagement. And for the QAIP external assessment, tips to identify differences between full external assessment and self-assessment with independent external validation. These are the success tips, the question to be asked in the examination. For the attribute standard 1312 external assessment, the external assessment must be conducted at least once for every 5 years. CAA to discuss with the board to form frequency of assessment and the qualification and independence of external assessment or assessment team, including any conflict of interest. For the external assessment, provide independent and objective evaluation of IAA conformance with the standard and Code of Ethics. There are two approaches for the external assessment. One is full external assessment or self-assessment with independent external validation. We call SAIV. External assessment conducted by the qualified independent external assessor, and their scope normally divided into 3 components: the level of conformance with the standard, Code of Ethics, review of IAA charter, plan, policy, procedure, practices, applicable legislative and regulatory requirements. The efficiency and effectiveness of IAA, so assessment of IAA processes, infrastructure, QAIP, internal auditor staff knowledge, experience and expertise. IAA must meet the expectation of the board, senior management, operation management, which also contribute to add value to the organization. SAIV is external assessment which is conducted by IAA and validated by the qualified independent assessor. Normally, the scope consists of comprehensive self-assessment process which emulates the full assessment process evaluating IAA conformance with the standard and Code of Ethics. And other than that, there will be on-site validation by the qualified independent external assessor. And finally, they have a limited attention to review, consultation, employment, leading practices, interview with the senior operation manager. For the external assessor must be competent in the professional practice of internal auditing, including current depth knowledge of IPPF, external quality assessment process, and must have no real conflict of interest due to current or past relationship with the organization. And matters relating to the independent include conflicts of former employee or firm providing financial statement audit, significant consulting services assistant to IAA, and parents or affiliate or peer review satisfied independence requirement. These are the criteria for those external assessor. Finally, let's look into the reporting on quality assurance. Attribute Standard 1320 reporting on QAIP. CAE must communicate the result of QAIP to senior management and the board. Disclosure should include scope and frequency, both internal and external assessment. Qualification and independent assessor. Assessment team include conflict of interest. Conclusion, assessor corrective the action plan. Interpretation Standard 1320, the IAA addresses the frequency of reporting on the QAIP is to demonstrate conformance with the Code of Ethics and Standard. The result of external and periodic internal assessment are communicated upon completion of such assessment, and the result of ongoing monitoring are communicated at least annually. And the expression of an opinion or conclusion of the result of external assessment is included in external assessment report. Let's look into rating scale, how to show the degree of conformance. Generally conform means that top rating means that IAA has a charter, policy, processes. Their education and result conform with standard. If it is partially conform, means that deficiency in practice are judged to deviate from the standard, but they do not preclude IAA from performing responsibility. And the worst part is does not conform. Deficiency in practice are judged to seriously impair or preclude IAA ability to perform adequately in all significant area of responsibility. During external assessment, the assessor may provide recommendations to address area not conformance with the standard, opportunity for improvement, where CAE provide management action plans to address recommendation from external assessment. And CAE also may consider adding recommendations and management action plans to IAA existing monitoring of progress to internal audit engagement findings. And finally, we have reporting resolution. Verification of recommendation identified during external assessment has been implemented is communicated to the board either as part of IAA monitoring of progress or by following up separately through next QAIP assessment. Importance of conforming with the standard. Attribute Standard 1321, use of conform with the internal standard for professional practice of internal auditing, indicating IAA conform with the international standard for professional practice of IA is appropriate only if supported by the quality result of QAIP. Attribute Standard 1322, disclosure of non-conformance, when non-conformance with the Code of Ethics or Standard impact the overall scope or operation of IAA, and CAE must disclose the non-performance and impact to senior management and the board. And the important part of reporting non-conformance, IAA is crucial part of modern complex organization governance processes. Senior management and board must be informed when assessment discovers significant degree of non-conformance. And non-conformance refer to overall IAA and not specific engagement. Alright, that's all for today, everyone. If you find this video is helpful for your Certified Internal Auditors Examination preparation, make sure you click the subscribe button and bell notification so you will not miss any updates from upcoming video from us. Be sure to comment down below what you have learned in today's lesson.